Good day, Sint Maarten. I'm Jacinta Lazaro.
And I'm Austin Lawrence.
Welcome back to another edition of Sint Maarten NEWSDESK.
Brought to you by TV15.
We bring the latest and most important stories around the island and beyond.
Show back Thursday. So we have new articles today, so check out these headlines.
Minister Gumbs addressed CBCS governance, ENNIA resolution, and Mullet Bay in Parliament. The Honourable Minister of Finance Marinka Gumbs updated Parliament on Wednesday about ongoing governance issues at the Central Bank of Curaçao and Sint Maarten, the ENNIA resolution process, and the status of the Mullet Bay property. The minister explained that the central bank has been without a formally appointed chair of its supervisory board for nearly 4 years, with Sint Maarten also lacking full representation on the board and management team. After months of delays, an in-principle step to move forward with attorney Jaido Bloom as a potential chair candidate was approved, but the process halted when he withdrew his candidacy. Gumbs stressed that the central bank charter prescribes clear steps for any appointment, including a 5-6 board recommendation, joint ministerial nomination, full screenings, and formal national decrees. She noted that with Curaçao's finance minister recently resigning, the process needed to be revived, with the acting minister to restore full governance. On ENNIA, the minister reviewed the restructuring timeline since 2018, confirming that the restructured company has operated as a solvent entity since January 2025. Legal proceedings continue, including a pending independent appraisal of Mullet Bay tied to the company's past liabilities. With Mullet Bay, Gumbs clarified the property was not for sale and the Sun Resorts and CBCS were developing a master plan for its future. She emphasized Sint Maarten's contractual right of first refusal under the ENNIA outline agreement, an option the government was actively evaluating. In related news, Minister Gumbs also received the 4th edition of Capita Selecta Caribbean Tax Law, presented by authors Marco Albers and Quincy Lant. The updated book offers a comprehensive overview of tax systems in the Dutch Caribbean. Gumbs praised the publication's value in strengthening fiscal education and policy making, calling it a valuable example of knowledge sharing. Co-author Lund noted the book serves both students and practitioners, helping to clarify the region's complex tax landscape. The book is available through Walters Kluwer.
Division of Labor Affairs hosted landmark labor relations panel. The Division of Labor Affairs and Social Services hosted a landmark panel discussion on October 30th, bringing together government officials, union leaders, HR professionals, and legal experts to address labor challenges and shape a more inclusive and productive workforce in Sint Maarten. Section head of the labor market, Natasha A. Richardson, moderated the event, which was attended by Labor Minister the Honorable Richinal Brug and representatives from key labor organizations, including WEEKSU, PSU, WIFO, WEEKLU, WE2, WEHUA, and the Social Economic Council and the Tripartite Committee. Panelists identified a lack of awareness of workers' rights and outdated legislation as the biggest barriers to healthy labor relations. Immediate priorities included upgrading HR roles, investing in employee development, and ensuring policies are clearly communicated in multiple languages. Long-term reforms stress the need for updated legislation addressing issues like workplace bullying and psychological safety, stronger social dialogue through the Tripartite Committee, and the establishment of a living wage to support the most vulnerable workers. Labor Affairs head Peggy Ann Joss Richardson called for urgent cross-departmental collaboration to enforce labor laws, while WICSU PSU President Sharon Kangita highlighted the need for transparency and equity in decision-making. Chief Labor Inspector Andrew Boudicca noted that better knowledge of rights would dramatically improve labor conditions. The division shared plans to make internal dispute resolution procedures more accessible through QR codes via its Facebook page. The unified vision of the panel called for ongoing social dialogue, empowered workers, strategic HR practices, and stronger accountability for employers. For more information, the public was encouraged to contact the Labor Relations team at labor.relations@stmartingov.org.
MP Ottley moved to put electricity and fuel prices under government control. Member of Parliament Omar Ottley took a bold step to protect consumers this week, submitting a draft ministerial regulation that placed the cost of electricity and its fuel components under direct government supervision for the first time. The proposal targeted the currently unregulated pricing of heavy fuel oil, light fuel oil, diesel, and industrial lubricants used by utilities, which had allowed sudden and unpredictable rate hikes affecting families and local businesses. Ottley said he stepped in after more than a year of government inaction on motions urging such regulation. He called the move a long overdue step towards transparency and fairness in how power bills were calculated. The draft regulation introduced a database formula to calculate fuel costs, reduced fixed service charges on bills, and created tiered base rates to protect low-usage households. It also imposed efficiency standards on NVGEBE, ensuring the company, not consumers, absorb any excess fuel charges or technical losses. A key enforcement mechanism was monthly oversight by the Bureau of Telecommunication and Post. Ottley submitted the draft alongside a petition signed by more than 800 residents and business owners, demanding lower bills and stronger government oversight. He said the community had grown tired of unverified expenses and unchecked cost transfers. The draft was handed over to the Minister of TEAT, the Honorable Grisha Heiliger-Martin, who agreed to review the proposal urgently, a development Ottley called a hopeful turning point in restoring public trust and affordability in the power sector. Coming up, Sint Maarten's rebuilding journey takes another big step. The National Recovery Program Bureau launches key projects to strengthen schools, sports, and emergency response. But first, next up, the Sunshine Report.
A new day begins. The sun rises over Sint Maarten, bringing new energy, new possibilities. This island was built on resilience, progress, and the strength of its people. Our connection is what moves us forward. It links our communities, our businesses, our families. From the heart of the island to the shores beyond, we've connected Sint Maarten. From every street to every home, this network was built for Sint Maarten by Sint Maarten hands. Connection isn't just about signals, it's about people. This is your island and your network recharged. Proudly local, we're here for today, tomorrow, and every milestone ahead.
Hey there, it's Busy with the Sunshine Report, straight out of Sunshine City, Sint Maarten, bringing you the warmth and the sunshine you need to kickstart your day. So let's dive into today's forecast and see how the skies are treating us. And that's your Sunshine Report, brought to you by the Met Department of Sint Maarten. So as you enjoy your week, stay safe, stay friendly. Sunshine City.
MP Wescot called for central bank review of proposed transaction tax. MP Sarah Wescot-Williams urged the Minister of Finance to seek immediate expert advice from the Central Bank of Curaçao and Sint Maarten on the proposed transaction tax, a measure currently under debate as part of the country's fiscal reform efforts. In her letter, Wescot-Williams warned that while the tax has been touted by some as a fix for budget shortfalls, the rates being discussed could have a distortionary effect, raising costs for consumers and businesses and potentially reducing financial activity. The MP emphasized that any decision on such a tax must be based on technical data, not political convenience. She called on the government to understand the broader economic impacts before moving forward. Transaction taxes, she noted, have been used in countries like Brazil, India, and parts of Europe, with mixed results, raising revenue but sometimes harming economic growth and inclusion. Wescot-Williams said, St. Maarten's reform efforts must be broad and balanced. We need a tax system that broadens the base, supports growth, and remains fair. The transaction tax should only be considered with clear advice from the central bank.
Winair hosted first ever Regional Aviation Border Conference. Winair made regional aviation history when it hosted the inaugural Regional Aviation Border Interconnectivity Conference, or RABIC, marking a major step towards a more seamless travel experience across the Caribbean. The conference, held earlier this week, brought together representatives from airlines, airport authorities, immigration and custom agencies from 10 Caribbean jurisdictions, including Antigua, Barbados, Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, the BVI, Turks and Caicos, and St. Maarten. Winair CEO Hans van der Velde said the gathering marked the beginning of a new chapter in the Caribbean Aviation Corporation, noting that closer ties between airports, airlines, and border agencies were essential for improving regional connectivity and passenger experience. Justice Minister, the Honorable Natalie Tacklin, officially opened the event, welcoming participants and stressing the importance of cross-border collaboration to enhance both travel and security. Discussions throughout the day focused on aligning border procedures, boosting interagency communication, and identifying shared opportunities to support tourism and trade. Delegates agreed that real progress depends on continuous partnership and coordinated policy efforts. The success of the first RABIC conference underscored Winair's role as a regional leader in aviation innovation. Plans were laid for ongoing meetings to further the vision of a faster, smoother, and more travel-focused Caribbean travel network.
Mr. Arundel addressed 43rd UNESCO General Conference. Minister Plenipotentiary Dr. Anders Gracita Arundel represented St. Maarten at the 43rd UNESCO General Conference held in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, the first time the event had taken place outside Paris since 1985. Speaking on behalf of Education Minister, the Honorable Melissa Gumbs, Minister Arundel highlighted St. Maarten's progress in education reform, digital innovation, and cultural preservation. She emphasized the importance of safeguarding Caribbean creativity in the age of artificial intelligence, stating that AI must amplify Caribbean creativity, not appropriate it. She pointed to the newly introduced Higher Education and Research Ordinance, which set national standards for accreditation and strengthened St. Maarten's academic resilience. Arundel also outlined the island's strides in STEAM and robotics education through regional partnerships aimed at boosting digital literacy among youth. In her address, the minister reiterated the cultural message from Mondia Cult, saying, "Culturize before you digitize," and stressed that technology must serve inclusion and integrity. The minister also noted St. Maarten's leadership in heritage protection, including the establishment of the Caribbean's first cultural emergency response sub-hub and work toward a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. Youth empowerment was also in focus, with 3 local high schools joining the UNESCO Associated Schools Network this year as part of the National Youth Mainstreaming Strategy. Arundel closed by expressing solidarity with Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, and other countries affected by Hurricane Melissa, while thanking UNESCO for its continued support of small island states. The conference runs until November 13th and includes debates on global education, the appointment of a new Director General, and the adoption of UNESCO's first recommendation on neurotechnology ethics. 7 years of clean audits, new community projects, and a focus on resilience. Just how far has St. Maarten come since Irma? We'll take a closer look right after this break.
Guess what? I got an idea. It's amazing. You see how we have the link? Sharing oil everywhere.
QR link,
the
yeah.
QR link.
Yeah.
Raw Caribbean Channel app. Yeah. You're welcome. Put it in the back.
But it's not an app, though. It's not an app. App, you have to like download something to get it on your phone, take up space. It's not an app.
It's like an app. Therefore, it can be an app. So, it's an app. Raw Caribbean TV app. Say it with me, Al. Come on.
It's not an app, though. All you got to do with that, it's a link. You take the link, you hit the bookmark, you say add to home screen, and so it shows up like an app icon, but it's not an app, though.
Are you a real person? It is an app because you get to watch all the programs from Raw Caribbean at one place. It is an app.
I don't know how to explain this to you, but factually and technically, it's not an app. Kind of like we do the news, facts,
Yeah.
and you do that thing you do.
Whoa.
Point being, you just go to the QR, you hit bookmarks, and you hit add to home screen, and then you can have the link to, let's give it another name.
The app.
You want to call it the app?
Raw Caribbean TV app.
Jess.
Yes.
Jess, please, give some sense, Jess. Jess.
It's kind of like an app.
That's why she gets the big bucks.
It's not an app, though. It's not a app. What the It's not a app.
You kiss your mother with her mouth? My God. Watch Raw Caribbean TV app.
Watch Raw Caribbean TV app.
Yes.
It's not an app, though.
Let's put everything on the table. People always give their opinion, and you can either take it or crunch it. Let them judge. We give in to the most irresistible flavor. We devour every nugget that falls in our hands, especially when it's our crunchy fried chicken. And let the crumbs fly if needed. Let them keep judging. We'll keep indulging. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
You could talk to your family, talk to your friends. Affordability and convenience. Community connection, that makes sense. Reliability with experience. Hey, for every laugh, every adventure. #1 provider, they got ya. We tell them your data is always on. You can opt out whenever you want. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to roll. Control my data, yeah, yeah, yeah. Always connected every time, everywhere. Money low, but I never fair. I know, tell them it's there. Connectivity, that's what I like. Flexibility, that's what I like. Reliability, that's what I like. Tell them, sign me up for life. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Come tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to go. Come tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to road.
Since 2018, the Sint Maarten Trust Fund, financed by the government of the Netherlands, managed by the World Bank and implemented locally by the National Recovery Program Bureau, the NRPB, has been quietly reshaping the island's recovery. Now, as the fund nears a decade of impact, the question is, how far have we really come? Today, Alston takes a closer look at the progress and the promise of Sint Maarten's largest recovery effort to date.
The story of St. Martin's recovery began in the wake of Hurricanes Irma and Maria, when billions in damage left homes destroyed, schools roofless, and vital infrastructure in pieces. In response, the St. Maarten Trust Fund was created, a partnership between the Netherlands, the World Bank, and the government of St. Maarten to rebuild, restore, and future-proof the island. The NRPB became the engine behind that mission, managing hundreds of millions of dollars across dozens of projects. Fast forward to 2025 and the results are increasingly visible. The NRPB has just relaunched bids for the repair of 12 school gyms and 13 public sports facilities, along with the construction of a new Emergency Operations Center, or EOC. These projects mark the final stage of the Emergency Recovery Project 1, aimed at rebuilding critical community spaces and strengthening disaster readiness. Director Claret Connor says the relaunch ensures transparency and wider participation from local contractors, a move that not only gets projects back on track, but also stimulates the island's economy. The EOC, set to rise beside the Fire and Ambulance Department, will give St. Maarten a permanent, purpose-built hub for emergency coordination. Construction is scheduled to begin in 2026 and finish by late 2027, a major upgrade for the island's disaster preparedness. But the NRPB's impact goes far beyond buildings. Over the past 7 years, the Bureau has maintained clean, unqualified audits every single year, an achievement recognized by the government and the World Bank alike. Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Luc Mercelina, called it proof that every dollar is being managed responsibly in the interest of the people of St. Maarten. Those dollars have reached far and wide, more than 500 homes repaired, 11 shelters and 6 schools upgraded, 176 local businesses supported through the Enterprise Support Project, and even the reconstruction of the Princess Juliana International Airport, once crippled by Irma, now nearing full restoration. Other projects are shaping St. Maarten's future, not just rebuilding its past. The Digital Government Transformation Project, for instance, is bringing government services online, streamlining permits, records, and payments. Meanwhile, the Mental Health Project has secured $14 million in funding for a new facility in St. John's, a long-awaited investment in the nation's well-being. Environmental resilience also remains high on the agenda. The Wastewater Management Project and the Debris Management Program are modernizing infrastructure while protecting the island's land and lagoons. Each of these milestones, the NRPB says, represents not just recovery, but evolution. From transparent financial stewardship to inclusive community-based rebuilding, the Bureau has helped make St. Maarten's recovery one of the fastest dispersing World Bank trust funds in the Caribbean. Back to you, Jasenia.
Thanks, Alston. From homes and schools to digital services and mental health, St. Maarten's recovery is no longer just about what was lost, but what's being built for tomorrow. The NRPB and the Trust Fund have shown that resilience isn't just a word, it's a process, and it's one St. Maarten continues to lead. That's all the time we have for today's edition of St. Maarten News Desk.
Thank you for joining us. Remember, new episodes premiere every weekday morning at 8 o'clock on TV 15 and then across our social media platforms. I'm Austin Lawrence.
And I'm Jasenia Lassiter, wishing you an amazing weekday. See you tomorrow.
Stay friendly, St. Maarten.